All right, so everyone loves a good underdog story,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
especially when it's like on a global stage,
Right.
like the Kings League World Cup,
Oh, for sure.
Those moments when a team just like defies all expectations and they pull off these crazy upsets,
Yeah,
it's electrifying.
it really is.
And I think anyone who watched the recent tournament would agree that Morocco's run was just,
Mm,
it was captivating.
absolutely.
Yeah. So that's what we're diving into today.
Okay, cool.
We're trying to figure out like what made their story so interesting,
Yeah.
even with, they had some tough breaks. And also just like the Kings League itself is just so unique.
It's a whole different ball game, really.
Yeah, with the rules and everything.
Yeah, I mean, it throws a wrench in a lot of the traditional football strategy.
For sure.
I mean, 7 players aside, super fast-paced.
Yeah.
It attracts these top talented players because it's so unpredictable.
Yeah. And for anyone tuning in who hasn't seen the Kings League,
Yeah.
like the rule book is basically thrown out the window.
Right.
It's crazy.
Totally different.
And Morocco's first match, they lost 4-1 to Colombia.
Oh, wow.
I was watching, I was like, whoa, where did that come from?
Yeah.
It was not the start anyone expected.
Not at all.
So how did they turn things around after a loss like that?
Well, I think it's interesting because that loss could have been super demoralizing.
Oh, totally.
But it seemed like for them, it was almost like it lit a fire.
Yeah.
Like it forced them to look at their strategy and dig deep. And they found this like wellspring of grit that really like defined their whole run.
You could almost feel the energy shift after that game.
Yeah.
Like you could feel something change.
Absolutely.
And that fire led them into the quarterfinals against the U.S.
Oh, yeah. What a game.
What a match that was.
Back and forth, high scoring, so much action.
Yeah.
And then it went to a penalty shootout.
Oh, wow.
I was on the edge of my seat the whole time.
When that final penalty went in, I actually jumped out of my chair.
Oh, I bet.
It was amazing. You could feel the energy in the stadium.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've got to ask, did that win tell us something about them?
I think...
Beyond just their skill as players.
I think it shows their mental fortitude.
Okay.
Because those penalty shootouts, especially in the Kings League, it's the faster pace.
Yeah.
They're so intense. It's so much pressure.
Yeah.
It's a whole different set of tactics, psychologically even.
Wow.
And I think Morocco had a real strategy for dealing with that pressure.
Okay.
They didn't fold. They didn't just rely on individual talent. They were a unit. They were a team.
And that takes us to their next match.
Okay.
The semifinal rematch against Colombia.
Oh, wow.
Everyone was watching this.
I bet.
It was the most anticipated match of the tournament.
Yeah.
Morocco took an early lead.
Okay.
Their top scorer was on fire.
Wow.
And then there was this VAR decision that disallowed a potential equalizer.
Wow.
For anyone who's tuning in and doesn't know, that's video assistant referee.
Right.
And
it sparked a lot of debate.
I'm sure.
It was very controversial.
Yeah.
A lot of people were not happy.
I bet.
The final score was 2-1, Colombia won.
Oh, wow.
And so I feel like with the VAR, it adds this whole other layer to the Kings League.
It's like the double-edged sword of technology in sports.
Right.
On the one hand, you want fair calls, Yeah. You want the right calls to be made.
Right.
But the Kings League already has all these unique rules.
Exactly.
And then you add this other thing on top of it.
Yeah.
The VAR can just like completely change the momentum of a game.
For sure.
It's another variable that teams have to account for.
Right.
You have to be so adaptable, not just to the other team, but to like these instant replays and these split-second decisions that can change everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wild.
But beyond just what happened on the field, I was really struck by how much Morocco's performance resonated with their fans back home.
Oh, yeah.
Win or lose, they really embodied this fighting spirit.
Absolutely.
And I think that resonated with a lot of people. Beyond just the score.
For sure, that national pride.
Yeah.
It's really powerful.
So what is it about sports that you think allows them to become these symbols of national unity and resilience?
I think it's because sports are something that everyone can get behind.
Right.
It's a shared emotional experience,
Yeah.
Collective hope, passion. And it goes beyond language and borders,
Yeah.
We see it over and over again, these underdog stories, especially in a format like the Kings League where it's so fast-paced and unpredictable.
Right.
People love that.
Yeah.
They love these underdog stories because it's that desire for resilience. It's that human desire to see someone defy the odds.
And speaking of defying the odds, one player I thought really stood out was Nadir Low.
Oh, yeah, he was great.
He was scoring goals, motivating his teammates.
Yeah.
It seemed like he embodied that whole Moroccan fighting spirit.
Absolutely.
But some people might say that in a format as fast as the Kings League,
right,
individual brilliance is less important
right.
than the team playing together as a whole.
Oh,
what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point.
Yeah.
But I think in Loa's case, he proves that individual talent can still be a catalyst.
Okay.
Especially as a leader.
Right.
He was able to make these clutch plays that you really need in the Kings League.
Right.
And it energized the whole team.
Okay.
So it's about finding that right balance.
Right.
Between individual talent and then everyone playing well together.
So looking back at Morocco's journey in the tournament,
yeah,
it's clear they learned some valuable lessons.
They did.
How do you think this will shape their future in the league?
I think they proved they can adapt and think on their feet.
Right.
And perform under pressure while also representing their country.
Yeah.
That kind of experience is so valuable,
right,
regardless of what the score says at the end of the day.
So it really was about more than just winning or losing.
Oh, definitely.
It was about the resilience, the national pride, and just watching that underdog story play out.
Absolutely.
And I think it brings up this really interesting question.
Yeah, what's that?
How does the Kings League itself, with all the unique rules and the fast pace, how does it contribute to those underdog stories and those moments that keep us on the edge of our seats?
Right.
I think that's something to really think about as we continue to explore this new era of football.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens next.
Absolutely.